I don't have to go out. I don't even fucking need anybody else. I love you.
Welcome back to Movie Flix. Today we are going to recap a 2011 drama erotic movie titled Shame. Successful and handsome New Yorker Brandon seems to live an ordinary life, but he hides a terrible secret behind his mask of normality. Brandon is a sex addict, and soon his sister comes to live with him, and this is where story takes interesting turns. But before we begin, please consider subscribing to our channel. Now, without wasting any further time, let's begin, shall we? At the start of the movie, we see a young man named Brandon. Brandon is a bachelor living in New York, and he is a huge sex addict, and so all of is always running around in his head, and he continues to invite prostitutes to his home on a regular basis. Once Brandon was taking the metro to his office, then he notices a girl in the subway. Brandon begins to stare at her with dirty eyes. As a result, the girl becomes really uneasy. Then when the next stop arrives, the girl exits the metro. When Brandon notices this, he begins to follow her. But the girl soon gets lost in the crowd. Brandon became enraged and went to his office. And then he masturbates by using the restroom here. We know this because of this. Brandon is a sex addict to this extreme. In addition, he has a large collection of pornographic videos in his office laptop. David is Brandon's boss's name, and he happens to be Brandon's best friend. Brandon and David then go to the club together after work. Brandon's friend David likes a girl in the same club, but the girl does like Brandon. Then as she exits the club, she offers Brandon a ride, and then there's the fact that they are both intimate. When Brandon returns home, this will be the end of the story. Then he hears a voice from within the house. As a result, he suspects that a thief has broken into his home. However, upon more investigation, he discovers that he is not a thief, but rather his sister Sissy, whose call had been coming to Brandon for a long time, but he ignored it. But Sissy was the one who had the keys to the house. As a result, when she arrived in New York, she went to her brother Brandon's house. Sissy is a singer who has landed a job in New York. She asked Brandon for this, that he permits her to live in the house. She had already moved in with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend, on the other hand, cheated on her, which hurt Sissy a lot. Brandon was aware of this, so he allows Sissy to remain with him. The following day, Sissy has Brandon to sing her a song. The following day, Sissy invites Brandon to perform her song. As a result, Brandon believes that his work will be completed soon. Then he will be undoubtedly attend the performance. Brandon goes to his office after saying this. When he arrives to the office, he discovers that all of the computers has been sent to repair due to virus in the computer. Then in the office, David inquires of Brandon, "What are your plans for tonight?" Brandon then informs her that he must attend his sister's singing recital tonight. Hearing this, David declares that he too will accompany him. Then in the evening, Brandon goes to Sissy's show with a debit card. At the time Sissy was singing, Brandon too becomes emotional after hearing Sissy's song. David enjoys Sissy's song a lot, and he tells Brandon that his younger sister is a fantastic singer. Then David meets Sissy. Then they start talking to each other. Then David begins flirting with her, who also impresses him. Then Brandon also sees this. Then he is not feeling right. Then there's the time when all three of them are riding in a taxi on their respective homes. David and Sissy then begins kissing inside the taxi. Brandon seems really uncomfortable when he sees both of them kissing. Sissy enters Brandon's bedroom after arriving home, and it is there that she begins to have sexual relationships with David. Brandon listens to the voices of them as they become more intimate, and he becomes enraged, but he is powerless because David is his boss. Then he goes for a jog outside, then returns home at night, and then he goes to sleep in his bed. After changing his seat, Sissy appears in his bedroom after a while. She also falls asleep next to Brandon. Brandon, on the other hand, becomes enraged with her. As a result, he yells at her, throws her out of the room. David calls Brandon to his cabin the very next day and tells him that we obtained a large number of pornographic videos from your hard drive. I'm thinking it's all your intern's fault. But then Brandon receives a video call from his family. Brandon then walks away without doing anything. Brandon then has an affair with Maureen, a co-worker in his office. Then on the same night go on a date. The date goes quite well and the connection is good. Maureen has also been divorced. As shown here, Brandon goes to the bathroom to masturbate when he gets home and he does not remember to lock the bathroom door. After a while, Sissy returns home and she walks right into the bathroom. Brandon was doing masturbation at that time. Sissy rushes out of the bathroom when she notices him doing this. Brandon is enraged at everything and he yells angrily at Sissy a lot. Following that, he looks himself in the bathroom. After a while, Sissy notices that Brandon's laptop is open to a porn live stream. Sissy realizes Brandon is a sex addict after witnessing this as she walks out of the house. Brandon then takes a loan for a long time. Then he throws away all of his porn and sex related items. Then the next day when Brandon goes to work, after that he kisses Maureen and they both go to the hotel after getting intimate. Brandon, on the other hand, is powerless in this situation because he was disturbed and Maureen then leaves. Brandon invites a prostitute girl to the hotel. After he leaves, he becomes intimate with the prostitute. When Brandon is watching TV in his house at night, Sissy then walks over there. Then she begins to tell him about David. Brandon then informs Sissy that you avoid David since he has a family and is settled. Then Sissy apologizes to him as well. Brandon, on the other hand, becomes even more irritable and he becomes enraged with Sissy. He tells Sissy, get out of my house. Then Sissy says there is no one else but you. Brandon then adores her and leaves the house. Then he goes to a bar and begins flirting with a girl who works there. Then there's the girl's ex-boyfriend. Brandon, on the other hand, does not remain silent in front of him. Then when Brandon exits the bar, then the girl's boyfriend brutally beats him up. All of this is causing a lot of anxiety for Brandon. He then goes to a gay club. Brandon is getting intimate with a guy in this scene. Brandon receives Sissy's voicemail after leaving the bar, in which Sissy apologizes to Brandon while he is crying and requests that she pick up the phone since Brandon was ignoring her. Brandon ignores Sissy after having listened to her voicemail, and then he goes to a brothel one more. And then there he gets intimate with two girls at the same time. Brandon takes a metro to home and everything has happened, but the train stops midway. Furthermore, he learns that someone has committed suicide. Knowing that, he begins to worry a lot about Sissy. Then he starts calling her Sissy, but Sissy does not answer the phone. Then he dashes back home. When he returns home, he notices Sissy has attempted suicide and he has slashed his wrist. As a result, she has lost a lot of blood. When Brandon notices this, he clutches Sissy and begins to cry. Sissy was still alive and well. That's why Brandon rushes her to the hospital and someone's life is saved as a result of this. Sissy regains consciousness. Brandon is overjoyed at this point. Brandon then walks out of the hospital and begins walking down the street. At the same time, it starts raining, and as even then Brandon starts crying loudly in the rain, and it must be accomplished that he was making so many mistakes in his life. Finally, he decides to make amends for his errors. After a few days, he is inside of the metro on his way to work. Inside the same metro, there is a girl who is constantly watching Brandon, and on the other hand, she is flirting with Brandon, but he ignores her, indicating that Brandon has been reformed. and this is where the movie ends. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, until next time.